Hello grade 7. So today we will start unit 8. Have a nice trip. So obviously our unit will talk about trips. The first lesson, page 96 and 97. What an adventure. So in the first activity we have different types of holiday. Let's read these types of holiday and try to figure out what are they about. First one is camping holiday. That's very clear. It's a holiday in which you do camping. Holiday by the seaside. You go to the seaside or the beach and enjoy there. Backpacking holiday. What is a backpacking holiday? It is an independent trip in which you carry all necessary things in a backpack and you start your journey. That's why we call it backpacking holiday, because you carry everything on your backpack. Next we have cruise. What is a cruise? A cruise is a trip or journey on a large ship or boat for pleasure. Usually it is a ship, and during which you usually visit different places. Then skiing trip. It's a trip in which you practice skiing. Then a guided city tour. What is a guided city tour? It's a tour in which you have a guide that is telling you, who is telling you about all the information or about the sites or the monuments of this city. And the last one, safari. What is a safari? It is an organized trip to discover the wildlife, especially in Africa. Okay, so I need you to remember the meaning of these holiday. Maybe you can write about one of them. Maybe you can tell me in 1 or 2 sentences what type of holiday you would prefer to go on. Now let's to the next activity. We have 2 texts that we are going to read. And here in the beginning they say that not everyone enjoys a relaxing holiday around a pool getting a tan. Andy Thomas interviews 2 people who had a different view on what a holiday is. So let's discover what these 2 people like. The first one is Oliver Mason. He looks like any other teacher and makes a good impression in his smart shirt and tie. But he has an unusual burning passion for volcanoes. Whenever he has some free time, he travels to a new volcano to explore. He told me he found them fascinating and that he had traveled the globe visiting them. His favorite location is Mauna Loa in Hawaii, where the biggest active volcano in the world is. Active volcanoes are much more interesting. Also, there are many activities you can do at volcanoes. I've just came back from an unforgettable trip to Nicaragua, where I went volcano surfing down the side of a volcano, said Oliver. That's pretty dangerous even with safety equipment. He showed me his scars and told me that I would love volcano surfing if I tried it, but I replied that it wasn't for me. The next person, let's read about this person. I was looking forward to chatting with Erika Red because, like me, she is an experienced scuba diver. But in the end, there was a big difference between us, you see. I wasn't very keen on the company she kept underwater. She told me that she loved interacting with the marine life. Every summer she books a holiday somewhere in the world just to swim in different marine environments. She has swum with humpback whales in the Antarctic and black-tip reef sharks in the Bahamas. She told me her most enjoyable trip had been to Mexico, where she had swum with whale sharks. They are the largest fish in the world, but they aren't dangerous, Erika said. Personally, I'd prefer not to find out. For her next trip, she has made the decision to travel to Darwin, Australia, where she's going to swim with crocodiles. Send us a postcard, Erika. After you read these two texts, you listen first and then you read them by yourselves. I need you to complete the summaries about the two people. You have here in Activity B 2 summary about these two people, Oliver Mason and Erika Red. You have some missing parts. You complete them from the text. You read carefully and complete them. After that, again, you read the text and read these sentences and try to write or complete the sentences with the correct form of the words. So every time we have a word in capital that is missing, but we're not going to write it the same way. We need to find the correct one. Let's read the first example. I might go to Canada next year, but I haven't made a yet. So here the word is decide. And in the blank that we have, the missing parts, it comes after a. After a, we always need a noun, a book, a table. So here I need a noun. What is the noun from the verb decide? From the word decide, what is the noun? It's the decision. And you have this word in the text. So you were right. I might go to Canada next year, but I haven't made a decision yet. So you do the same and you try to figure out what are the other words. Now let's move to the grammar part. I need you here to focus and to listen carefully. Today we will learn about reported speech. We will learn how to report statements. So here I have two examples, a direct speech and a reported speech. Let's read the first one, direct speech. I visited Tenerife last summer, Paul said to me. So here I have a normal sentence that is said by Paul to me. If I want to tell someone else about what Paul said to me, I will report his words. So I will say, Paul told me that he had visited Tenerife the previous summer. Notice here that there are many changes. I do not say or write the sentence the same way. I need to make some changes. And notice here that I have the word that between parentheses. It means that I can use it or I can not. It's up to you. I can omit it. So I can say, Paul told me he had visited Tenerife the previous summer. I can say the sentence simply like that without using that. Here in this table, I have the necessary changes that I want to, or that I need to make when I am reporting a sentence. Let's look for more examples and explanations so that we can understand what is the reported speech or how can we report sentences or statements. First of all, in direct speech, we repeat the exact words. Excuse me. In direct speech, we repeat the exact words that someone said. We usually use the verb say, and the words or statements of the speaker are put in quotation marks. Example, Henry said, Alex has bought a new car. So here I'm writing or saying the sentence the same way Henry said it. I need quotation marks because I'm saying the exact words of Henry. If I am reporting the sentence, let's see how we'll do it. First, we use the reported speech when we report the meaning of what somebody said, but not with the exact words they used. So this is what is reporting. We report the meaning of what they say, of what people say, without using the exact words. If I'm using the exact words, I need to put quotation marks, and this is called direct speech, as we said before. In reported speech, we use a reporting verb. Usually, the verb say or the verb tell, followed by the word that, which can be omitted. As we said before, we can omit it, we can delete it. Okay? And then I complete the reported statement. Example, Henry said that Alex had bought a new car. So this is the first example, which is direct. Henry said Alex has bought a new car. And this is how we reported. Henry said that Alex had bought a new car. Let's look through the changes. When we change a sentence from direct to reported speech, pronouns and possessive adjectives will automatically change. If I'm talking about myself, I will say I. For example, Henry is talking and he say, I love cars. If I am reporting the sentence, automatically I will not say Henry, I love cars. I will say he loves cars. He loves cars. So I love cars. If I am reporting the words of someone, I will say he loves cars. So pronouns will automatically change and other adjectives or possessive adjectives will change as well. And here, when the verb say of the direct speech is in the past tense, we usually make the following changes. When I say Henry said, and not Henry says. If I say says in the present simple, Henry says, or she says, he says, I'm not going to change the tense of the verb or anything. But if the verb say is in the past, I need to make a lot of changes that we will see them here. First, the tenses will change. If the verb say is in the simple past, Mom said that, and then I will carry on. And then I will carry on. I need to change some things. First, the tenses will change. The present simple, if the direct speech verb is in the present simple, so the verb in the reported speech will be in the past simple. If the verb in the direct speech is in the present progressive, the verb in the reported speech will change into past progressive. If the verb in the direct speech is in the past simple, then we will change it into past perfect. If it is in the present perfect, we need to change it into past perfect when we report it. Next, we need to change modals as well. If we have in the direct speech, if we have the word will, it will change into would in the reported speech. Can will change into could. May, might. Must, had to. Then we have the time or place words. Example, now will change into then. Here, there. Ago, before. Today or tonight will change into that day or that night. Yesterday will change into the previous day or the day before. This morning or this year or this month will change into that morning, that year, etc. Tomorrow changes into the next day or the following day. Next week or month, etc. will change and becomes the following week or month, etc. So here are the most important changes that you need to pay attention to when you are reporting a speech. You notice here that these changes cannot be made, so the changes that we talked about before, cannot be made when the sentence expresses a general truth. For example, I enjoy watching adventure films, Suzanne said. Even though the verb say is in the past, Suzanne said, but here I'm not going to change the verb. or the tense of the verb. Here, I enjoy, it's in the present simple. We said that we change the present simple into past simple, but here we're not going to change it. Suzanne said that she enjoys watching adventure films. If you notice here, it's enjoys, enjoys. So it's present simple as well. Why we did not change here? Because the sentence expresses a general truth. So in the sentence, in the direct sentence, we have the verb enjoy, I like, I hate, or whatever. Usually we don't change the tense of the verb or the modals or the time and place clauses or expressions or words. Why here? Because the sentence expresses a general truth. The next exception is when the reporting verb is in the present. I said this before. If the verb say is in the present, we don't make changes for the tense, the modals, and the time words. Let's read the example. I will study English next year. David says. So here we don't have said, we have says. It's in the present simple, so we don't change the tense. And then I will report the speech as the following. David says he will study English next year. So here will, study, study. I did not change the tense. I did not change the word or the modal will. And notice here I did not change next year. I did not change it. And the last exception, or the last two exceptions, are when the verb or when the words, when in the direct speech, if we have the verbs could, might, should, would, we don't change them if we are reporting them. And if the tense used in the direct speech is the past progressive, we don't change it in the reported speech. I hope this was clear. Go slowly in this video. You read carefully. It's okay to go back and read the examples carefully so that you can understand, and it's not that difficult. It's just you need just to focus and look at the changes, the necessary changes that you must make. And now you go to the activity, the practice, and you try to do these 4 sentences. Read carefully the explanation, and then you do this activity, and of course the activities of the workbook as well, and you send me to check on them. Okay, thank you.